Britt, you have to try this. Like, Claude Code is it's just so much fun.
If you said to me, which I would believe, okay, this is where I maybe agree with Dave.
You know what I want to do every night at 10 p.m. Code? No.
But this is it.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of More or Less. We missed you guys last week.
Thanks for holding down the fort.
You should go back on vacation so Bitcoin goes up more.
Well, you guys, it's our anniversary today, and we're spending it with you. So you're welcome.
Solana's ripping.
You were there. You were at our wedding.
We were there, and every time I'm like in a part of Jackson Hole, I'm like, is this where Dave and Britt were married again?
That was very cute, guys.
Oh, thanks. We'll go back and do another one for our 20-year anniversary.
That was a fun wedding. It was one that you guys got married relatively early in our friend group. So
yeah, we were one of the first. I think that's why people remember it. They forgot about every other wedding after that because one time we did like 12 in a year.
My memory of that wedding was it was a great wedding. I missed the Friday because Dustin and I got stuck in Denver and we're in a DoubleTree with a pizza. Which was actually kind of a fun Dustin adventure back in the day.
You missed the moose. You missed the moose.
And you missed hang gliding with Dave the day before he decided to marry me, which was really scary for me.
Oh, I had forgotten about that.
I've forgotten that. It's not, you just have some, that's fine. They just use jump off of the top of Jackson Hole and they like spin you down. It's fine.
The day before you're getting married.
Sam and I just continue to jump off mountains. This is nothing.
It's better than the getting the day after. It's like, that's the last day where you're not responsible. It's like, you'd much rather your husband do that the day before.
Oh man.
Before you buy the farm.
Okay. Are you done, Sam? What other sort of mildly offensive marriage analogies do you want to drop right now?
So many. I could go on for hours on mildly offensive.
We celebrated our dating anniversary this week.
Oh, which is like forever ago. You guys are dating dinosaurs.
Which was also launched at TIV. It was a really great day. But guys, I'm just really relaxed right now because this is not live. So
we can make edits, just say anything you want.
And I can say anything I want. And I don't have to worry about there being a control room where a speaker insists last minute that he won't use your software. You got to use that person's software. You test it 3 times. Your video editor somehow doesn't know that like the input goes this way after testing it 3 times. And all of a sudden you're interviewing Mark Zuckerberg and no one can hear it.
I was actually, I had this whole thing staged, guys, because Jess is launching a news channel and like a good house husband, I was playing tennis while she was doing that. And I told the tennis coach, I was like, give me a minute between, I actually won a few games off this pro. And between games, like, give me a moment. I'm just going to dial in. And I was like, oh, there's no audio. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep playing tennis because once the tennis match is over, I'm going to go home.
And someone's not going to be so happy.
So what happened?
Well,
what happened?
So that's what happened. So we had tested with Mark's team and we were using one software. Mark's team wanted to use another software. Fine. All's fair in the software experience. We tested it and we thought we tested the transitions, but I guess we didn't. And so the transition went wrong. But have no fear, folks, because I just kept talking. And Mark just kept talking. And I had faith that somewhere something was being recorded and got a great text from a former late night producer after the whole thing who said, happens to everyone, air it tomorrow, move on.
And that's
what we did. So we aired it the next day.
So it was recorded, obviously.
It was recorded. We had some audio issues, but my brother, God bless him, fixed those. And we were able to record and air the full interview. And then I was able to get on and share my thoughts about how the interview went. I will say it was challenging to pull off this interview, knowing that this had just happened and that the rest of your team was like melting and you still had to,
keep your cool.
ask about Llama 4, figure out what was going on in all of these things. So
maybe Mark loved it because he knew it would ultimately just be recorded and then edited so he could say random shit that he could ask you to cut out later.
We put it, yeah, I mean, we fixed with the viewers couldn't hear us, but our control room, we could hear the control room. So while I was interviewing Mark, the control room, which was melting down, was in both of our ears. So actually, we both did that interview with the first 5-7 minutes, just having like a third person in the conversation, which was challenging to do too. So
I think it's great lessons in the internet, which is you do it live. You can always kind of post it later. And the beauty of these always on mediums is that like, it's just the pressure. I mean, it's always pressured and live's pressured, but like you do get to kind of just get it done, right? Like it's a very different than like
we've had our third successful show today. CNBC had me on to talk about the interview today. They've asked for the footage, which I've given them rights to.
Ooh.
I don't know what they plan
to do
for that. We'll talk down the line. This one, no. Right, cool. I like CNBC. We're friends.
Charge, Jess.
Part of the family, and we're gonna have a great show for everyone tomorrow and the day after that. And
so, are you doing this every day? This is you every day. This is a lot of.
I have a great host. It is a lot of me. Guys, I have figured out finally at the age of 42 how to put eyeliner on in 6 minutes. I mean, it's
a lot of pressure after we've been through years of COVID and Zoom. You have to,
Brett,
look good.
I could actually use some tips because you've got this nailed. But no, I have a great host, Akash Pashrika. He leads the charge. We launched TITV because we have this amazing newsroom that every day is breaking important stories. And so today we were able to have a reporter who's gotten inside all the major IPO filings, knows that he just did a big interview or did big profile of Figma, talking about that. So we've got a great bench and also a shit ton to learn, which is kind of exciting and a little nerve-wracking. And I'm really enjoying, this peeves me for about 5 minutes, but the folks on X who comment on our layout and how to use our screen real estate, keep it coming. Because every day I'm like, you're right, that shouldn't be a glass. That should be a mug, an information mug. Let's swap that in. Like there's a lot that's kind of fun to learn from.
I think you just have to enjoy the medium that is the internet. The internet is a wonderful, ridiculous place.
Yeah.
Could we do a random, more or less product placement somewhere? Like, can we have a bracelet or something that you just casually drop in?
I'd love to have you guys on next week, maybe. So you'll be getting your...
Oh, okay. We're in. I'll make t-shirts just in time.
It's cool to learn a lot. And there's just...
cross-promotion. Oh, you know what I did? Actually, because, I have no actual role in this.
Sam, I think by the time this airs, you'll have been on. So
yeah, I mean, I do CNBC. I used to do this TBPN thing. They probably never invite me on again, but that's fine. That was fun. But
why? Did you say something terrible?
No, it's just, people like fake wars. I will say fake wars are good for everyone. Everyone should do fake wars. I like
how Britt assumed that you had said something terrible. That's the correct assumption, Britt.
I say tons of terrible stuff, but it's basically impossible to say anything terrible enough as long as you get clicks that they're not going to get you invited back. I really think the thing that I'm pushing now, Jess, is I really think you need like a comedy show.
That is your takeaway from the last 3 days?
Yes.
That I have a sense of humor? What?
No, it's not that you don't have a sense of humor. I feel like I just want a comedy hour. And I feel like it'd be so easy to get some internet comedians to do like Ehrlich Bachman hour. The hour, like something like that'd be so fun. We just have to figure out what it is.
Bring like Dick Costello back and do the real show and then we do the Silicon Valley show.
I also would love a game show. Like I really want you to make a game show.
I'll be in that. I'll be part of the game show.
It's like, do you guys remember the movie with the Weird Al Yankovic movie, with a UHF, where he puts on a low budget television TV show? You remember this? Great.
No.
And he starts Wheel of Fish instead of Wheel of Fortune. This is like one of the greatest movies ever made. And I just feel like this is...
What was that app that got really popular for a hot minute that every day had like a game show on it? Trivia. HQ Trivia. Remember HQ Trivia?
Honestly, I bet you could license...
vibe code that back.
I bet you could license HQ Trivia into like a tech game show. People would fucking love that shit.
I would totally play it, Jess.
I think we're like 2 months away from 24 hours of programming.
Well, here's the thing that I'm realizing, guys. So our numbers are actually really good for being 3 days in. But what I'm realizing, and X is one of the reasons we're doing this and doing it in a live format, is X gives you a lot of real estate and really great access for podcasts that are live.
So we should be doing this live, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I need to change my whole media strategy.
I actually don't know if my body can handle that.
I think there's a live button that I can push here. What?
Just press it.
Don't do it. No, Jess is tired of live. We need to give her a break.
Tired of live. This podcast is not sponsored, so I can breathe a little bit more. By the way, the number of people who have reached out to sponsor
Maybe
TIV,
you should unsponsor it.
Hundreds. But they're all like, we're sponsors of the All In podcast. And I'm like, wait, I thought All In didn't have sponsors. So anyway, I don't know if they do or don't, but I know people are telling me that they are. But anyway, clearly longer is better for building your audience on these platforms. And you can just see, like, if you're on for the first 20, 30 minutes, or you're on an hour 3, like the audience is. So we may just have to keep the cameras rolling. I don't know.
Listen, I'm also just happy to like do VC hour. You just have entrepreneurs come pitch, just do it live. Like
I've thought
they
about
love
that
it.
too. Office hours.
This is good. This is good. This is good.
I have no problem saying what I say to entrepreneurs in meetings to just everyone. Who cares? It's fine.
Well, there's also, and I want to talk about other tech news, and maybe we can briefly talk about Mark's interview because there was some news in there, been driving the news cycle. But I think that I want to make something participatory because we have an amazing community of people. And I think our subscribers are really smart. And obviously TITV is free, but something where maybe subscribers can ask questions.
A call-in show, like a radio show?
Yeah. But one thing that I could use your help with, Morins, is I really want, like, on Fridays to have like a celebration segment, like across the industry, like who just celebrated their 40th birthday, like who just got married.
Why are we the ones to help you with this?
Well, because you know people.
People like you.
I thought it was because we're the Moors and we're like happy and positive people. Because if Sam came on, he would like ruin the whole thing.
I would be like, I would have my top 10 people who had the worst week. That's a great list.
Exactly.
I was thinking of going on Friday and doing my winners and losers of the week and just like doing it every week and see what happened.
You should totally do that.
So anyway, this is the state that our great show is in.
I think this is so fun. And it's great because it all feeds itself. You get great stuff from that. You put it in some newsletters. The newsletters get the journalists, and the journalists tell you what's going on. Like, it's a big... Now I understand why people build conglomerates.
It just means that you have to be always on. I mean, this is why Paris Hilton and Gary Vee and all these creators have like a team of people that follow them 24/7 recording content. It's just like, that's the way to get attention.
I don't think we need that. What I'm really thinking about is it's like you have a 20-minute interview or a 15-minute interview. And I don't know, I'm day 3 of the interview and I'm still cutting, splicing, repurposing, finding places to take content from that interview and put them, whether it's newsletters, articles, videos. Like I'm not telling anyone anything by saying media is fragmented, but it's just like perpetual, right? And there are so many quotes and things Mark said about, he talked a lot about personal superintelligence. I'm really interested in what the Morins think about this, right? Mark, I think for the first time, talked about, okay, OpenAI, Microsoft, all these companies are going after productivity. And yes, that's important. And yes, companies will do that. But he's like, I think people care more about the simpler things in their lives and using superintelligence for that. And I pushed him a little bit. I mean, I didn't have much time and I had a third person talking in my ear, but on what that is. And the example he came up with was like, after every conversation I have, there are 5 things I want to follow up on, but I don't. And what if all of that happened automatically? So I don't know. I'm going to throw this to you, Dave. I think you're someone who's thought deeply about AI and obviously the consumer experience. Do you think, is there a track of AI that is distinct from the productivity and coding track that you think is emerging or is interesting, or is that not the framework you have in your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think that framing sounds like some great PR framing. The example that he gave is not a personal example. Like the use case that you just said is actually a productivity use case.
Productivity one, yeah.
Now, to give some credit to the frame, I do think that obviously the way that most people are using these LLMs is in a very deeply personal way, right? I mean, I don't think you'd have ChatGPT rising in its DAU at the level that it is, to almost, I saw a chart last week that ChatGPT is now nearing Instagram's daily time spent. And I don't think that would be the case if people weren't using it for, productivity, for, personal use cases. I mean, you just have to, go on the internet, go on Twitter, go on Reddit and look at people debating the different ways and the different use cases that they're using these things for, to come across people using it for deeply personal reasons, right? They use it as a therapist. They use it to, we've talked about on this show many times, people are using it to improve their relationships, to change the way that they send an email or send a text message so that it might be better received by the other side. People are using it immensely to create visual stuff, right? The most viral thing that happened on ChatGPT in the last 6 months was people wanting to put photos of themselves and their friends into the tool and, entertain themselves by showing each other what they look like as a cartoon, right? So I think you have this playing out pretty dramatically already. The question is, do you need to fund the ability for people to do more of this with advertising? And it seems like that's what I'm hearing the case being articulated as from Meta, that because we have an enormously profitable and immense advertising engine that kicks off something on the order of, I don't know, I saw, what was it, 65 billion or something is the new number last quarter.
Yeah, sounds right.
Because they have this immense cash flow engine, they can provide this stuff to people for free. And so people can do more personal use cases for free thanks to advertising, right? And that groks to me, right? Like that's what we've been talking about on the pod for 2 years, right? That it's not going to be the startups and the up and comers that provide the more personal cases to people. It's going to be the incumbents, and the incumbents with enormous business models that can afford to make this stuff really low cost for the consumer. And that's kind of always been my big frame, is that either you're going to receive the benefits, personally from something like a Meta or a Google, funding it with advertising, making it as low cost as possible for the more consumer, the more social, the more personal use cases, or you're going to see models deployed on the edge, i.e. Apple deploying on device, where they are free to use. And, because of that, you can do more, the more frequent, more social use cases, right? Where, every time you're texting with someone, every time you're posting to a social media feed, you're using AI to do something. That gets really expensive if you're not a business. And so that would be my take.
Yeah. I want to turn over to Britt. I think you mentioned that sort of AI mediating personal comms and, people using it to rewrite text messages or to analyze conversations. I hear more and more people doing that. Is that a thing you guys like? Is that really a thing?
Yeah, I think that this is one of those situations that the future is, well, it might even, the old saying is William Gibson, the future is here. It's just not evenly distributed yet. I actually think the future is here and it's already massively distributed. Like, I think that, I had received an email, like a super important email related to a board that I'm on today. And it's super clear the entire thing was written by AI.
Yeah, but so did you even read it? Just like, who cares? Like, it's all slop.
I know that's the truth, Sam, but I think this is happening, all over the place in every direction now. And it's just kind of the water that we're swimming in.
I agree. I just think it's all like, to me, this is why the image stuff is also boring or whatever. It's like, there are these fatty things, but like, it all just becomes black because it's all just made up shit, right? Like, if anything, like the use cases I find personal and interesting is reading all this shit and then distilling like the 3 things that matter out of it. Like, the letter meme thing I love. Like I've been like messing with this. I'm making one you're going to appreciate now, Dave, which
Remind Sam, because, maybe our viewership's grown since you've talked about letter meme. Remind people what it is.
I just basically decided that all the newsletters that I read, I'm not reading them anymore. But I basically built, I think, a relatively smart way of extracting all the proper nouns and topics from them and then remixing them and then having it kind of recut it into like, here's the 5 themes of the day and what each newsletter in a quip is perspective is on the thing. And it's like just very effective way to understand what's going on from smart people. Now I'm doing the same thing. I have a version for creators. I'm also with Jess, you're going to like, and I think Dave and Britt, you'll like too. There's like the same thing with like local newsletters in like Jackson Hole.
Oh my God, you've always wanted to do this. This is your dream business.
I just want Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, Jackson Hall, Kauai. There's like 6 places. And I'm just like, I'm not going to read your fucking newsletters. But if I can aggregate them all, right, and then just give me like the half quick look of what the hell's going on in all the vacation spots.
Don't forget the Bolinas Hearsay News.
Well, Sam, I've got a modification on this that I'm hoping comes. One of the first conversations I ever had about AI was like the day after ChatGPT launched, and I was at a lunch and I was sitting with Adam D'Angelo and Greg Brockman, and I was asking them, will you be able to like launch an agent that could go out and do the local news reporting that nobody is doing anymore? Like, could it go get the local sports? Could it go get the, a lot of the local news that is missing from all of these places that you're talking about and actually aggregate it into a simple 1-page newsletter that would make these, these places that they're missing a local news now. Like I'm sitting in my hometown and there's no local news here anymore and it's awful.
So my 2 responses to that, for what it's worth. The 101 Sam response is, fuck no, you don't understand how reporting works. Like obviously you need to pay reporters and sources of truth. And like you can't possibly get that from AI because AI's biggest problem is it has no idea what's actually going on in the real world.
But right now there's 0.
Oh, I can't wait to enter this debate. But first I'd like it to transpire. Yes, continue.
I'm a learn by playing guy, and Jess can attest to the fact that I've been like in a hole programming for like 2 weeks. And I finally...
All he does. He programs, plays tennis, squeezes in Pilates, and programs some more.
Sam does Pilates?
Oh, yeah.
Sam loves Pilates. Sam kind of co-opted my Pilates instructor. She gave him more time than I get.
Interesting.
Well, you earned it.
Yeah.
You earned it.
Anyway, so the upshot is I've been like in a hole. And I've been working on like 4 or 5 projects in circles because like that's how I work on things. But they're all kind of coming together, right? Like the letter inhibitor, I now built this like really fucking cool creator sourcing tool that's like awesome. Like I'm really into it, right? For sourcing creators for our fund. It's great. So in the concentric circles, there is a version of what you're talking about, Dave, that I think actually might work for getting what's going on in local communities. But it's like my next vibe coding turn of the crank post letter meme, post creator sourcing. So I'm just going to build it and I'll show it to you.
Okay, cool.
And Dave, I think it's a cool idea. And it's something that folks at the New York Times talk about a lot too. Like the canonical example used for AI solving the local reporting crisis is there are X number of school board meetings that there are transcripts of that no one is paying attention to.
Yep.
And so I think this is a really intriguing example.
And city council meetings.
Yes, totally. But no one's really done this. And I think part of it is actually sort of like people think they care, and X times a year, people might care, right? Like if a big thing is like going down, but it's very hard to build like an audience reader habit around like most of the stuff that comes out of that. And it may still mean that we should do it. And you can argue that organizations or even the New York Times should just be running these things and seeing what emerges, and that
You mean just looking at these transcripts?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. I'm skeptical that it's going to turn into some kind of viable alternative for the holes in local news. It doesn't mean it can't help a little bit.
The hole is so enormous. I want there to be an answer to this, right? Like I spend a lot of time in small communities during the summer, right? Particularly in Montana. And there's no news. And it's actually a business problem, right? People don't know what to build. They don't know what small businesses to start. They don't know what's going on. And so there's
well,
like
it's not just a business problem. There has to be demand. Like everyone, like you and me, feels like there's deep demand, and you cannot run a survey that would not show you there's deep demand, because who feels like they wouldn't? But it's honestly not what readers are choosing. Like,
no, what they want is fucking AI porn. But can I just push for a second? Like, there's a version of this, I think, that we actually invested in. We're lead investors. I'm really excited about it. That is working, right? And there's actually a blog associated with it, which is called. It's you must know Sunil Rajaram. So you know of his new company?
No,
it's sick. Basically, what they figured out, right, is a specific use case where this makes all the sense in the world, which is city council meetings for buildings. So it turns out that if you want to build shit, right, you got to kind of know what's going on in the city council, who's approving what, the whole 9 yards. And it turns out during COVID, with these sunshine laws, all of the transcripts for all the city councils basically ended up online. He basically has built a company that scrapes it all, aggregates it, builds the data sets, and then sells it to real estate developers. Be like, okay, you got to get this through city council. You got to know what's going on in the city council. You got to know about this woman and that person and this thing that's going on and this relevant thing and this person pushes on this. Like all the intelligence you need as a developer to build. So that's the core business. I think it's doing extremely well from everything that's called Hamlet. But he started this thing called Small City Big Data, which is, you're going to love, Dave. You haven't seen it, but it's basically a Substack he started where they take all the data and they do reporting and share really interesting insights from city council meetings aggregated through AI. So like one example is he did this great post that I put in my newsletter a few weeks ago about the New York City public meeting language when it flipped from I to we. So you can track the use of the word I and then we, and how when those microphones switch over, what it's talking about, this like, crazy man who's now going to like be mayor, right? But it's like a really interesting thing where yes, like with this data online, you can do it. But like anything, it's not a yada, yada, yada problem, right? Like people love the abstract yada, 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 being like, well, we get all of the small town news data and then people will read the small town. It's like, no. There's going to be much more specific uses for it, right? With like verticals and things like that. And some of it's really valuable. Defensibility, well, there's all sorts of things we can argue about, but like, I think you just have to be much more specific, right? Like no one actually cares, that the Bergen Record no longer reports boys track team scores, right? In like northern New Jersey, right? Or something. Maybe other than like track kids, like I used to like it when they post my time, or like the debate championships, like no one cares. Right? There's no market for that, right? Like, but there is a market for it, right?
I wonder, you made me think about data centers, like what the meaning's happening that if you followed and had to do with permitting and energy and you
want to build a fucking data center, you better know what's happening in city council meetings, right? Like, and like, that's the types of shit where I think you can make a ton of money and build really compelling businesses, but it's not very general, right? It's like highly specific.
Yeah.
But to your point, that's where you always need it, right? Like you want, I definitely want to know which counties in the entire country the data centers are going into.
1000% you do. And by the way, like that's the question. Again, the real issue is that is like, if it's too automated and everyone has access to it, is it a really good business? This is the problem with all these things. It's like temperature rises, it becomes table stakes. Not necessarily a good business, but like
automate for me, not for thee.
So we haven't solved local news yet, but we're trying.
It's really bad.
Also, like there is, but wait, I'm not going to do on that point. Okay, so Dave, I think your points about AI going back and the personal need, I think make a lot of sense. And I think it's absolute, the business model question is paramount. And, Mark said, and I should say, I do have a personal relationship with Mark Zuckerberg for people who don't know that. I'd like to be very clear about that. I know him.
Someone on Twitter is going to be so mad.
Someone is going to be shocked by this news. But he said, look, and we can fund all this and the Hyperion Titan data center, because of our business model.
Yeah.
And
which is right.
I was like, yeah, it's true. And, I was like, is that a jab at everyone who, has to go out there and raise $100 billion? And he's like, well, kind of. I mean, it is a difference. Now, does AI compromise that business model? What are the headwinds for that business model?
No.
Those are all.
I think there's a real question as to what happens as advertising becomes more a part of the AI experience, right? Like, I think that this is a unknown question right now. And they're using the cash flow from their prior advertising business to fund a new consumer experience, which is yet to be developed, really. And so you can look at it kind of like, well, we're doing the like WhatsApp thing and we'll figure out how to monetize it in the future. We're going to spend tens of billions and it's the frontier. We have to be there. All this stuff makes sense. What I don't think is super clear yet, by the way, not just for Meta, but for ChatGPT, ChatGPT, by the way, like, and Anthropic, like they're making a lot of money, but they're not making enough money to fund the capital that they're raising. And so they have to turn to advertising sooner or later.
They're making a lot of revenue.
We just published a story about their margins. What did we say about their margins? I think we said they were improving, which doesn't really...
Might be true, but the only way you're going to Sam's point, quote, make money is advertising. And so you have to use the attention that you've gathered by becoming more interesting than Instagram. And you have to start running ads.
I wanted just a quick asterisk here for the nerds. So Anthropic recently said its gross profit margin from selling AI models and Claude directly to customers was 60% and moving towards 70%. But this doesn't account for a lot of other shit. So anyway, but if people are interested in gross margin.
Yeah, it comes back to my point of profit per token, right?
Yeah, but we talked about this before. Just profit per token is a stupid way to operate. Like, it's like, unless you believe that AI is going to erode Meta's attention, right? They're going to crush it, right? Like, they're going to get better and better and better at targeting. People are going to like be willing to pay more and more for subsegments of audiences with better conversion on everything. And that's great. Now, if you have some thesis that for some reason, like AI is going to erode the attention that people want to spend on Instagram, fine. That's a different conversation.
I think that's actually something that we should talk about because it appears that it appears that is what is happening. Yeah. Like it appears that is what is happening. And I would argue
that it. If people are spending hours and hours talking to ChatGPT, that's time that they're not spending somewhere else on the internet. So
absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like I don't see it in anyone's behavior yet. I agree that if for some reason people decide that ChatGPT is more entertaining than Instagram, that is like the $1 question, right? I just don't. I mean,
I would argue that is what is causing the frenetic pace in the ecosystem right now. I think if you,
I don't know. I mean, I can
because it can't just be AGI this and it might be in 3 years, blah blah blah. Like all of that's fine.
No, but it's easy. Dave, I think there's a much more simplistic way to look at this, which is like, look, again, Mark's right that he's in this incredibly advantaged position, which is, in the end of the day, like this is deeply accretive to his business, right? No matter how it breaks. Like it's a heads you win, tails you win type scenario by default, right? And people love the narrative. So like you spend $100 gajillion on AI and market cap go up, because people are like excited about that, right? Like all these hires are free to him, right? And so like it's one of those things where like it's like playing a big boss in a video game where like there's no cost structure for them. Like they're going to bury you, right? From that perspective, if that's what it is. So it all makes sense from the big perspective.
They don't have the product yet. And I think you have to
the product is
be pretty clear about that.
What are you talking about? Like
Sam, the product is ads on the old internet. Like social media is the last cycle. The new cycle is people are talking to ChatGPT.
No, I think, well, here's the question. We talked about this before. We talked about the eras of just entertainment broadly. You started with People Magazine, general entertainment, grocery store bullshit. It turns out your friends are more compelling than People Magazine, right? Then it turns out that professional friends are more compelling than your actual friends because they're hotter. Then it turns out that after them, the algorithmic everyone, which is the TikTok thing of just like fuck an individual person. Like the reason, Kylie Jenner doesn't like TikTok is because it erodes her value because everyone's more entertaining than just her. The question is, does AI become even more entertaining? Is it like the next step?
I think it is.
But the question is too, is like, if you have the container for sticking the AI in, does it even fucking matter? Because if you're Mark, or you're any sort of leader,
you still have to deliver a great product.
Slot it in. You just slot it in.
So I think this debate, and I want to bring Brent in, and I think you got this debate is really interesting. And I think the reason it is a debate is we don't actually know yet, right? So Dave, you're saying, the old advertising models for the old internet, there needs to be and will be a new flywheel business model for sort of the AI world.
And by the way, you have to get comfortable. It's not just this. There's going to be a new business model, new flywheel on the personal side of AI. Yeah. But people are going to have to get comfortable with that. They're using a free AI that sells their data to, sells their attention to advertisers, just like they were in social media. And it's not clear to me that AI, given how personal it is, people are going to be as comfortable with this. They might be.
I think it's a great.
But I don't. I think it's yet to be seen.
I think you're right inside the conversations happening inside OpenAI right now, right? Obviously, they brought in a bunch of advertising execs. Their CFO is out there saying advertising is going to be a part of our business model publicly. Sam Altman, I think, believes that too, but is being a little more cautious. And I think the reason people there are cautious is they look at the trust relationship they have and how people are using the product, and they're wondering how advertising is going to fit within that. I think it's interesting. You got
Sam Altman out there even saying things like we should establish a new legal precedent for AI where
he says a lot of things, but yes.
That's a classic Sam Altman. And by the way, he's the only one who can deliver.
He's saying that to stick it to the New York Times.
I know, but as a user, I think it's a super real and fair thing to want, right? Like if
guys,
you're using
I'm going to make a confession here before we go to Britt, and it's going to get me in so much trouble with my team. But okay, so now that I have like a video daily production effort, I have a ton of transcripts that I need clips out of. This is a transcript to clip to social media factory. You know what's really good at getting clips? AI. And so it's like, automatically, I'm like, team, if there's a clip you want, highlight it. If not, put it in an AI, look at the 6 options, see if you like them or not, and highlight and move on with your day. And honestly, I think it's definitely doing a better job than my clip selection. And, now I have to figure out a way to do that. So like this is stuff that's already aired, so it's not pre-publication or anything like that, but it's kind of wild.
It just doesn't matter. Like I think,
but also I'm also like, well, say what you mean, and then I want to get to Britt on this question of the new
matter?
Business model.
No. The business model clearly matters, but like again, I can just go back to the first principle of this: the productivity use cases of AI, right? Which are real, like for sure, they're definitely real in coding. Like, and by the way, that changes the whole world because coding now really fun again, right? Because you don't have to write a gajillion tests.
The whole world changes because coding's
so
fun again.
Fun. It's so fun, right? Like, so that stuff's for sure true. The productivity stuff, unless you have a fundamental sustainable edge, right? It's just, you get better clips. Everyone gets better clips. If everyone's clips are better, then no one cares. Right?
I was going to make that point too.
It's like, it's just a war of attrition. It's literally a war of attrition for attention. And if everyone's using, like, all that matters is edge in that. And so like, sure, you get it, but it's like, who cares? It's like, it's a marginal thing that doesn't matter and you can just switch off of it. Then you're like, okay, am I going to like fall in love with ChatGPT and spend all my time chatting to it instead of like...
from clips into falling in love with ChatGPT.
Well, like, what is the point? Like, I guess more computers, more computers drive productivity. You can only make money on productivity if you can do it uniquely. If everyone does the same productivity, the temperature rises, no difference, no money to be made. It's just like, that's how capitalism works. Then, so it's like, that's the productivity thing. Then
it's not going to happen like this. To Dave's point, the future is here. It's not evenly distributed. There is arbitrage. But
it's happening so quickly, there's not enough margin to be made. It's just like, it's not clear. I do think there are opportunities, like, but for the big behemoth companies, it's like, you have to have a proprietary edge, or you're just fighting a war on the margin you're going to lose. And if the answer is, well, you can't, it's not going to be a war. It's not going to be APIs, because it's too commodity. It's not going to be productivity because it all tends towards zero, right? It's going to have to be some sort of like sustainable relationship that's defensible. And so that's how you end up in this narrative of like personal chatbot characters that love you. I get it. There's a lot of lonely people in the world. I just think it's like really unclear to me, how that plays out.
I'm not actually talking about personal chatbot characters that love you, Sam. I'm talking about that ChatGPT is just right now a superior product. And so if you've got a superior...
What do you use ChatGPT for that you're so... I'll go back to when we ask every other episode, like, what are you using that's so exciting?
Dave's going to answer, and then I'm going to ask Britt a question.
I'll be here.
Thanks.
Frankly, it's memory. Like,
stay put.
ChatGPT is just better at being the primary tool that I use every day. And, you know, I subscribe to Grok, you know, Pro this week, tried it, doesn't work that much better, unsubscribed. Like, Anthropic's great for code.
What have you done this week with ChatGPT that you're excited about?
I talk to it almost every night, Sam.
But like, what do you ask it? Like, what are you doing with it?
I learn things. I talk to it about what I'm interested in. I talk to it about, you know, things that I'm trying to research. I talk to it about...
Well, like, give me one specific.
Okay, that was very specific. And also, Britt, you had a prediction. Was it last year or this year? Last year, that we were going to be talking our AIs all the time.
Talking out loud to our AIs more. And by the way, our 10-year-old, who I think is always like at the forefront of where the, you know, Gen Alpha is headed, only talks to his phone when he has, you know, anything in his mind. He's just like, he's been really getting into making protein shakes. He's following in our footsteps, I guess.
That's awesome.
We give him a few minutes of time on ChatGPT so that he can perfect the ultimate protein shake for Ansel. He speaks to it. He says, so here are all my things that I like. Here are the types of fruits I like. Here's what I don't like. And every day I want a different type of shake that has this much protein in it. And every morning when he wakes up, he asks me for 15 minutes of time so that he can make his protein shake with ChatGPT. And I think it's hilarious because not only is he doing that, but he's only talking to it. He does not type. He just only talks and he makes the shake. He can obviously read and he can type, but he doesn't. And anyway, I think we're all moving to a framework of talking. I thought it was interesting. Maybe you didn't. Mira Murati is finally starting to talk about her multimodal open source AI startup that is apparently worth $12 billion and that it's going to be something you can talk to, something you're using vision with, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I do think it's just incepting us everywhere. On the business model topic that I didn't get to weigh in on yet, I mean, I truly think commerce and affiliate are really where this is all headed. And OpenAI announced this week that it's like starting to create a new payment checkout system into the chatbot. Yeah. And that basically merchants that fulfill the orders are going to have to pay a commission to OpenAI to do so, which is effectively affiliate, right? And so I don't know that it's going to be ads like we've known them on the internet. It will be personalized product recommendations, travel recommendations, you know, airline recommendations, whatever that fit who we are as people. And so the data will be tailored to that more than anything. And I think the business model on the internet will fundamentally change because of it.
I am so frustrated. Like, last thing I use ChatGPT for is a picture of our shot on TITV and suggestions for outfits. Because if you're doing this thing every day, you need a TV shirt every day, right? And it's great at this. Like, this is a really good use case. People who want posing suggestions or any sort of tip on, like, we've talked about skiing, surfing, like, it is very good at evaluating these kinds of things. It suggests all this stuff. And I'm like, where are the links? Like, it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't do the links first. But I think it's they're ramping that up dramatically. I also did this. I'm helping someone with a photo shoot. I'm helping a CEO with a headshot photo shoot. And she sent me all these photos of the things she's planning to wear that do not go together. And so I took the photos, uploaded them to GPT and said, like, clearly these shoes don't match this outfit. What shoes would you recommend instead? And send me product links with them. So that definitely worked.
By the way, it says I needed more of a collar. I needed more structure in my, anyway, that was what it said. But I'm glad you brought that up as a business model, Britt. I think that's going to be huge. And that will feel more evolutionary, I think, from internet business models. But if you go back to Meta, that's not where Meta has a toehold. So
but kind of what it is. It's kind of what Meta is. Like, how most of Instagram is product recommendations now, right?
This is Sam's favorite topic.
Look, I mean, I saw a thing on Instagram today where someone was joking about it. They were like, now I understand. I just watched my girlfriend one-shot a purchase off of Instagram, and now I understand why it's a $2 trillion company. Right? Which is like totally right. It's like the better the algorithms get, the better it's like it's going to crush it at just selling you more shit because it knows what you want. And like, candidly, in some ways, it's like, think about it this way. There's two types of purchases. The purchases you go out to, when you're like, I need a rake, right? Who's going to sell me a rake, right? And like, sure, I believe that ChatGPT can get some of that market, and along with a lot of other people, But it's that's not where all the money is made. The money is made on the like, oh shit, you want some like, you convincing someone they want something, right? Putting something they didn't know they want in front of them, right? And so I think this is like the big thing is like, I'm not saying these things don't eventually collide in some form, but for the foreseeable future, the like, I need a rake. Maybe ChatGPT gets a few cents on that transaction over time. That's not where the money is made, and that's not how advertising actually works, right?
But it's not just, it's travel.
It's just a difference between a push and a pull. And to your point, Sam, I think they collide at some point.
Yeah, abstractly. But for Google's been doing the push versus, Google's been doing the demand last click, I want the rake for ages. I completely agree that Google has got to like get its act together and win at this because that is threatening to them. What Meta does, how they make money, and this is why it's so great for them, is it's like so obviously upside. And like, unless Dave is right.
Because you think it's going to be better. You think fundamentally they're in that recommending demand generation.
That's where all the money is.
Yeah.
It's not about selling people things they know they want. Right? Like,
I think there's money in all parts of the commerce stack. I think there's money in all of it. Like,
not really. I mean, this is the whole thing about like people used to even, going back, people would always go back and be like, why don't, if you're Meta, like, why wouldn't you like also go down the stack and like fulfill, cause that's not where the money, it's like so much harder, right? Like I'd rather be get paid to like incept ideas in you of things you want and match you with things you're going to want, discovery. That's where the money is. But like plumbing to fix it, it's even much harder.
I think you're making the point here, which is that if ChatGPT continues its rise and its current growth rate, it becomes more attention per day than Instagram and approaches, the levels of all other social media on the internet, then it's not just taking Google's use cases, which like I just went through my GPT just now, and it's like every use case that I would ever have used Google for is now in GPT. Every product I'm looking for, everything I want to discover, every like thing that I am thinking through and want a recommendation for, I am talking to GPT about it. And I think if that's the case, then it's squarely in the middle of Meta's business model too. And like, I think that's the real question here is that can they build a product that can compete? Because right now they don't have one. And so they have to figure out how to use yesterday's ad dollars to fund the creation of a new product.
Yeah. And no one has it yet though, Dave. I think that's a great point, but I don't think people have it. Can I do a Google check? How's everyone feeling about Google? I mean, basically
I use the shit out of Gemini.
So the vibe seems to be people think Gemini is improving as a model and it's getting more cred for that. We had an interesting story about some traction they're making in the cloud side. Well, what do people think, right? I mean, talk about business models under pressure. It just seems like there are huge questions in front of them still.
I'm still long on Google.
The Gemini CLI is pretty great. It's their Claude Code competitor. It's pretty great, but is it 10%, 5% better than Claude Code? And does that matter? That's a real question. But it's also totally unrelated to your more broader question, which is like, are they alive?
After shitting on them, I'm like deep cursor.
Interesting. I've gone like deep Claude Code and not doing cursor anymore.
Oh my God. Dave, last night, we're falling asleep. Dave's like, I just can't stop thinking about how Claude Code is so much better than Cursor.
No, this is exactly how we fall asleep too,
It's
Brett.
just
I'm
game
so
over
with
for
you.
Cursor. Like, I just really believe it. And I'm like, literally, stop.
Because honestly, the thing I keep in mind is like, I'm in the coding stuff has gotten to the point. It is perfect for people like me and Dave.
It's so good. I built an entire app last night.
Yeah, like you need to know like quite a bit about app development, and like, you can't just like be like build me an app and have it do it correctly. And like you need to structure the data. There's all these things that like are fun and interesting problems, but then there's like 9 years of the work, which made me stop coding at all, which is bullshit stuff you don't want to do or deal with or debug. And like when you just can get all that out of the way, it's like
so amazing.
It's so fun. It's like a video game with a productive outcome. And it's like, I'm loving it. So that I'm like fully bought into from a closed loop perspective. I don't think anyone's going to make any money on it, but it's a great experience.
No, it's creative and interesting. Like I've been loving seeing Jack Dorsey like creating like vitamin D apps and like new like Bluetooth chat apps. Like he puts out a new app every weekend. Like it's great. And it's all, I think he's got another CLI called Goose, I guess, that Block created. I started playing with it today. It looks kind of cool.
You know, people have been asking for a long time about when the internet was going to get fun again. And like, actually, I think this is the non-obvious way it's gotten fun again, which is all this shit that you just build for yourself that like is really fun. And like that I buy, right? Like
to be fair,
if you said to me,
that's what I was saying to Britt last night, Sam. I'm like, Britt, you have to try this. Like Claude Code is it's just so much fun.
So here's the thing. If you said to me, which I would believe, okay, this is where I maybe agree with Dave.
You know what I want to do every night at 10 p.m. Code? No.
But this is it. This is actually it. So this is, we were talking before about how the entertainment versus AI shit, like the intersection. And this is actually a perfect example. The place I actually agree with Dave is if you consider coding just really fun to build things, you're like, what is entertaining? Would you rather play a video game or build apps? Would you rather scroll Instagram or build apps? For a very small segment, it's actually more fun to build apps.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's a small segment. So why are we talking about you guys?
I don't know that it's that small. The numbers are huge. There's 1 billion people using these things, you know? Like, it's like...
You just can't sell me anything off of it. Like, what are you going to sell me? A different People Data Labs API? Like, I just asked ChatGPT for you, Dave, to ask 20 product-related things, and it's like, you know, and it's funny because I don't really use ChatGPT to code, but what I do is if I'm running something for real coding and then like some stupid bullshit thing, I'll ask ChatGPT on the side and run both to like resolve them both at the same time. But it's like, drop multiple columns in Postgres, you know, unique category extraction, like creator feedback. It's like all this like coding shit that I've been working on, right? Like, and like just asking it to like generate scripts for me faster. And so like, if you consider that attention, maybe I am using Facebook less, right? Like,
I do agree with you on this. And I think it's not just coding because I have done that, you know, I have done some vibe coding.
Random
AI, I'm building something that I'll show you in 2 weeks. But I also think AI product design, which is not just arcade, which I know I pump up a lot because it's one of our portfolio companies, but like there's a lot of these in fashion right now happening and home design and all kinds of things are so fun and entertaining. Like, and you have to be good at prompt engineering right now to be able to get it to do exactly what you want it to do, similar to vibe coding.
How many people in the world are good at prompt engineering?
I'm just saying, this is the beginning
These things are getting
of where
better
this is
at
all
making
going.
your prompts better.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what's so cool.
Exactly.
Guys, I love coding as next is and I love being able to do things by myself, but I just don't know like how many.
It's just interesting because I actually think this is like somewhat deflationary in this weird way, which is like, again, if you take the broadest perspective and you say, Sam, when Jess wants to watch a TV show and you'd rather work on like some stupid app you're building for fun, that actually is literally just entertainment. And like, therefore it is sucking your attention. And that's how to think about it. I buy that to a point, but it's interesting because like, you can't sell me anything. Like, I'm just consuming compute resources.
You can't sell me anything? Say that again. You cut out.
It's like, it's actually like weirdly like negative for the economy.
But you're buying tokens.
But again, like there's no margin in them. Like,
but if you're replacing your Netflix watching, there was no money in. I mean, I guess your Netflix subscription. I don't know. There's
a little more. I'm just saying it's like, it's a weird, like, it's an interesting thing because like basically what you're saying is my version of like dystopia is, which I believe was going to happen, is all these people are going to get like obsessed with like talking to themselves in ChatGPT and go crazy. And it's already happening, right? This is like the narcissist 101, right? Is like you just go crazy in a corner talking to yourself. You can make the argument, which is kind of a funny one, which is like, if I'm sitting there just vibe coding shit for fun that I'm interested in and playing with it, that actually is basically the same thing. It just is like a little bit like a higher end version of it. And so then maybe, yeah, like maybe that is where all the attention goes. And that is pretty bad.
Okay. Can we do, we've almost got a wrap. We covered a lot of ground, but can we do a pop culture corner on Lena Dunham's new show, Too Much, on Netflix? Britt, Dave, have you watched it?
What about Wimbledon? Come on.
No, we are deep on 9 Perfect Strangers.
What's that about?
Nicole Kidman.
Oh, I'll add it to the list.
Yeah. This is on Hulu.
She had sex with more children?
No, different show.
No, she does like crazy mushroom ketamine therapy hotels and people go wild. Anyway,
it's pretty
worth
great.
watching.
Why is everyone excited about the Epstein again?
Why is everyone talking about Epstein again?
This is I only get my pop culture through Letter Meme, and like Letter Meme has convinced me that one of the topics of the week is very much about Epstein and reaction.
Oh yeah, in
that
politics,
was last week.
Sam. Like,
I think Letter Meme is behind.
No, it's not true. It's absolutely consuming the political conversation in every possible way.
According to my reading of all the letters that I don't now read because I aggregate them.
Maybe AI doesn't capture all the nuance in society.
Did you guys also see the new rock and roll band Velvet Sundown go to like #1 on the Spotify charts last
love
weekend?
This story.
No, Britt, I didn't. Tell us.
Thanks to listener Ricky Van Veen for pointing us to this.
Well, Velvet Sundown revealed last week shot to the top of the charts for its debut album, Floating on Echoes, and its #1 song, Dust on the Wind. And it's an AI band, you guys. And it literally was at the top of the charts for days.
And the music's actually pretty good.
Yeah, the music's pretty good.
Everything's AI, the photos, the whole thing. And my whole thing is like, what makes this any different than any kind of electronic music? It's just a different type of electronic music. Just because it sounds like classic rock, doesn't mean it's still electronic music. And if you like it, listen to it. Who cares?
Totally. Well, for those who care, Lena Dunham's new show, it is a spiritual sequel to Girls. It is not
really
the same by any means, but
that's cool.
Follows a young woman on her journey to London from New York and all the mishaps that ensue as she falls in love. Is that accurate, Sam?
Well, I like the lead actress who's very funny. She's from that other show we like. What's her name?
She's in Hacks.
Hacks.
Let's look her up. Let's give her a name.
She's very funny. The thing that I know nothing about this genre, and I find this show a little hard to watch because it has moments of being funny, but it's clearly not for my demographic. It feels like there's that show Emily in Paris where the girl's hot,
yes.
right?
Yeah. She's not hot to me, but okay.
She's like hot. She's reasonably hot, right? Emily in Paris?
Fine. Yeah, it depends on your taste, but
a lot of people think she's very hot. Megan Staltzer is the star. And actually, I suspected this, but the show is autobiographical. It's based on Lena Dunham's move to London where she met her husband. But Sam, yes, let's hear through your...
That's like, my understanding is that's like polished network hot girl moves to Paris and I believe has a very good time. And this is like ugly girl moves to London and has a shitty
She's not ugly.
time.
She's just not skinny.
She is not attractive.
I think her face is quite pretty, but yeah, okay.
So it's like pretty girl moves to Paris, have a great time. The next natural cultural successor to that is ugly girl moves to London and has a terrible time.
But is she having a terrible time, Sam?
What a 2x2.
This is the whole story. Like, this is the whole story, right? What are her when expectations meet reality? Sometimes love is in all the places you're not looking. I mean,
is that how you feel, Jess?
No, but that's the heartstrings that this program is trying to pull on, which I enjoy. So I'm probably some of the older people. Brent, as a younger, more youthful mom, maybe you'll be more in but I think it's good. And Lena Dunham it's not like she has a real talent for writing for a generation about a moment. And she's funny. And she has like a small acting role in it.
She is funny. I do think she's funny. I think some of it's good. And I will say that in my newsletter aggregation, there was one of the Hollywood, I don't remember which one, quips was saying like that basically culture's dead except for Lena Dunham. So I don't know. That just stuck with me. So
there you go. So everyone should, not everyone, but if you like Emily in Paris, you should definitely watch it. Even if you don't I think if you like Hacks, you should watch it.
Hacks is great. Hacks is a fabulous show. Have you guys seen Hacks?
No, we still need to see that one. Okay, that's good. I needed a new show. Oh my God, you
guys have the world in front of you.
Yes.
I'm like kind of starstruck by the fact that this woman that is a friend of a friend wrote it. Lucia is awesome. And like, it's funny because I knew her like 20 years ago and she's not a close friend. I know an acquaintance, but she's really good friends with a friend of mine from New York. And I'm like starstruck watching. I'm like, I know the person that made this and it's great.
It's cool. Great. Well, we have all those recommendations. Dave, we can give Yannick Sinner the congratulations for a well-earned Wimbledon victory.
I love Sinner.
He also earned some more of my respect. Like I
love Sinner.
I was in the view of like Alcaraz is great and Sinner's the worst. And now I'm like, I kind of like Sinner too.
No, when you watch Sinner play and you watch, a devastating loss in the French, he's obviously good. He's #1 in the world. He wanted that match. He outplayed Carlos. It was just a wonderful rivalry. big win all around. Women's final, not so much a win. Very excited for the US Open. Very excited for the Laver Cup coming to San Francisco this fall. We're just on a tennis high over here. So I'm this week is a Wimbledon letdown. I am a little bit sadder because Wimbledon's not on. So luckily I've been distracted. So friends, well, thank you for another great episode. To our back channel, please do send any and all suggestions. We love the feedback. We love the ideas. You keep us on the news. Please continue to share. We are growing this podcast. Please continue to share comments of all nature. We've decided no press is bad press. And with that, we'll see you again back here next week for another episode of More or Less. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this show, please leave us a virtual high five by rating it and reviewing it on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Find more information about each episode in the show notes and follow us on social media by searching for @MoreOrLess, @DaveMorin, @Lesson, @JLesson, and as for me, I'm @Brit. See you guys next time.